Hi everyone out there. Maybe you've been watching my videos before or this is your first video. Hopefully it comes across in a positive way. Um, if you haven't seen my other videos and you're interested in anything creative, this is not just about graffiti. Graffiti can be a medium, a venue to start along a path of creativity, and I have some techniques that can help. Very basic things, ideas mainly. This is not about me telling you how you should do anything. This is just, all my videos are meant to be vessels of information for you to see, oh, that makes sense, this makes sense, and you can put it together however you want and explore it however you want. But ultimately, it should be you expressing yourself in your purest form. That's what I'm exploring for myself. I went from graffiti to now I do abstract, which is the most sort of unconscious expression because there's no thought of like, what is it? Is it a word? Is it a letter? Is it a person? It's just designs, movement, colors. It's kind of like a dance. You can't really, to me, a dance, the more literal it gets, the more I'm kind of bored with it. But when it's expressed from deep within, then it's like, whoa, you get it. But there's nobody going, oh, this is what this means, so I'm going to make the movements really literal so you get it. No, you just express it how it's true to you, and it will come across. And that's the same thing with painting or anything creative. So I'm going to just rattle off some random things that come to mind that are that are of importance to me while I drink my tea here, wherever it is, because I've been a little sick. Sorry to all of you who have been waiting for another video. It's been a while, but kind of not sorry, because if you've been waiting for me this whole time, then sucks for you. Don't wait. Use your own time. Excuse my iPhone. So, I've been making art all my life. I always drew as a kid. I was better at getting distracted drawing in school than doing schoolwork. I got into graffiti in high school in New York when I started going to high school in Brooklyn. And somehow I got obsessed with some aspects of it, of things that now don't matter to me anymore, like getting notoriety, impressing people. I got pretty obsessed with it. You know, if you're a graffiti artist, you know it's an addiction. You will even admit it. It's an addiction. But ultimately, addictions don't reap any long-term or real lasting rewards. But that's fine. I went through it, and now I'm on a different path. But graffiti was all about improving my style to impress other people ultimately, but that helped me go through my own personal schooling. I taught myself, and I learned a certain amount of techniques, and then after I got in a lot of trouble and I had a serious insight of like, what path do I really want to take in life, I started seeing a therapist, and he helped me realize why I did graffiti and what a more fulfilling creative endeavor might be to truly express myself, and that's been my goal since then, and I'm finding it now more and more, and it's way more fun. And I went through plenty of frustration. That's one thing, remember, don't give up on frustration, don't beat yourself up. Learning is hard, whether you got somebody teaching you or you're teaching yourself. It can be hard. Part of it is we see this other person's artwork and it's like, man, it's so awesome, I want to do that, and you try to do it and it's like, no, I suck, throw it out. I've had some cool paintings that I've punched a hole through on canvas and it had sand on it, ripped my skin apart. I was bleeding. I was like, ugh. Well, now it's a piece of art because I've expressed myself. A lot of frustration. Normal. Go ahead, have your frustration, destroy it, burn it, whatever. Just don't give up. Practice daily. It's no excuse to say, oh, I like to spray paint and I can't afford spray paint. That's just copping out. You're not practicing. If you're not practicing, you're not practicing. You know, don't complain to me that you suck in 2 years. If you're not practicing because you don't have the right tools, practice with pencil, pen, paper, whatever, chalk on your mom's wall, whatever you need to. There's no excuse. Have patience. Just try to remember that the more frustration you're having with your results, it's because you're focused on, your mind is result oriented. You want to get, you go, oh, that artwork looks great. I'm having this sensation in my body. It feels good. Notice that. You get this inspiration. What is inspiration or whatever? It's a good, pleasant feeling. It's a pleasant feeling. So you think if you replicate that thing, that it's going to bring you that same pleasant feeling. And then when you don't replicate it that way, and then you don't get the same pleasant feeling, you get an unpleasant feeling, and then you blame it on that, the art you made. No. The unpleasant feeling is just because your mind is stuck on this result. You know, if you know Buddhism, you might understand it intellectually. That's not going to stop you from getting pissed off. Find things that are fun for you, even just the process of it. Try to find fun in the process of painting, drawing, whatever it is. Stop thinking about what the end result is. Be in the moment. Do a bunch of sketches where you're trying to do something a certain way and don't be attached to the result, and also do things where you're doing it for the fun of it. I love paintbrushes because you can manipulate them in different ways. It's not a pen where it just goes straight on. It goes like this. A brush, it waves, it curves, you press it down, it turns, it presses itself against the surface into different shapes, which creates different sorts of shapes of line, whatever, how the paint's applied. So you can get these lines that can flow different ways depending on what brush. You can use a flat brush, you can use a pointy one, a rounded tip, a fan brush. They'll all give you different results, and it could be fun just to do these designs. And if you get out of your head about like what it needs to look like for you to feel this happy, jolly sensation, you just go, oh, interesting, I see what's happening. Let me try this, let me try that. Just keep dabbling and messing around, because these are all the little puzzle pieces that are going to be information input in your head, and slowly they'll start to connect, and you'll have all this information, and then you'll know how to connect it the way you want to over time. That's pretty much what I did when I was trying to break out of my habit of graffiti. When I realized graffiti was very limited because I had my mind stuck on, like, oh, it has to be this style, and it has to have an outline, and then a background color, blah, blah, blah. I started just trying different random things. I would take paint with a spatula and spatula it on, and using paintbrushes and all these different things, and I didn't know what I was doing, and the stuff was like, okay, interesting, but it's still not a piece of art. And I had all this like student kind of art hanging all over my house. But years later, now I've got a few different styles that I feel are very, very me. It's just my essence comes out in these different styles. Some of them have a lot of depth, some of them are very flat, some I can manipulate to be either very flat or with depth in 3D. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, now I want to explore this style and mix it with this style and see how that comes out. Whereas before it was kind of a blind, like, I'm not sure what I'm doing, I'm just going to try this and this, okay, whatever, interesting, not sure what to do with it. Doesn't matter if you don't know what to do with it, just keep going, just keep having fun. I started doing graffiti 13 years ago or so, and that's when I seriously got into the habit of like practicing an art rather than just doodling. And so, it's taken a long time. It could take less or more for you, depends. I think all it depends on is your mindset. If you allow yourself to have the process, allow yourself to make mistakes, be determined, and not only that, also gotta, might want to consider how to improve your life in general. Diet. I have a healthy diet. I just did my second 10-day meditation course. It's called Vipassana meditation. It's really intense, painful, agonizing 10 days of meditating 10 hours a day. You don't speak to anyone. But I come back and I'm a lot more clear. I've taken an acting class, which has helped me get in touch with my emotions and be more flowing and extroverted and social. I used to be a real quiet introvert. I've gone to therapy. I got arrested 6 times for graffiti, and I was facing a year in prison for it, and I did some serious thinking, and I got some help. I realized I was doing all this to myself, and so I decided to be on a more peaceful path. And the more I've been on it, the more my life has changed and improved. So, besides art, there's other things to work on. For this video, I think that will be all. Hopefully you get something out of this rant. Feel free to ask me questions. I answer questions all the time. If you say nice video, I might not answer because I have a lot of stuff going on in my life. But if you have a question, I usually am on answering really quick, either on a comment or a personal message, or email me. To me, the better questions are questions about your process rather than what your art is looking like. But I've had people send me pictures of their artwork and ask me to give a critique, and I'll say what's looking good and what to pay attention to that you're doing right, and what you might want to change to make it look a certain way. I can never tell you, nobody can ever tell you how to do something, whether it's right or not, unless you are asking them, I'm looking to get this specific outcome, what can I do differently? Then they can tell you something more specific. But otherwise, don't let anybody tell you you shouldn't do something a certain way, because that's just their narrow mindset. You can never fully get in touch with yourself and express it, show it to the world, if you're influenced by other people's opinions so heavily that you're going by their guidebook. We're all individuals, and the most beautiful forms of expression in any art form is someone expressing themselves truly. And now that's not an excuse to say, oh, I have a lot of anger, so I go around beating people up, and that's my... No, not really. That's not taking responsibility for what's going on inside. I'll say also vandalism. I tag the crap out of the city, and it's not... there's no excuse for it. There's no reason for it, except we're not taking responsibility for ourselves and how we feel. So I've been there, done that. Anyway, I'll do another video on that later. I'm going to stop ranting. Thank you. Thank you all for the comments and the gratitude. I'm glad I could be here. Glad I could be here to help and share my progress and my process and what I've learned. Goodbye.